Imagine reaching a point where you realize that exercise is no longer about doing more, but about doing what truly matters. After 60, the body doesn't need endless routines or complicated workouts. It needs a small number of movements that protect strength, balance, and independence. The problem is that most seniors are either doing too much of the wrong things or avoiding movement altogether out of fear, and both lead to the same place: loss of confidence, weakness, and limited mobility. Here's what really changes after 60. Muscle mass naturally declines. Reaction time slows. Joints rely more on muscular support to stay healthy. If those muscles are not trained properly, everyday tasks begin to feel harder. Standing up from a chair takes effort. Walking feels less steady. Turning or reaching creates hesitation. This isn't a failure of age. It's a failure of stimulus. What most people don't realize is that the body only needs a few key movements to stay functional. You don't need dozens of exercises. You need the right ones. Exercises that teach the body how to support itself, how to stay balanced, and how to move with control. When those needs are met, the body responds remarkably well. Even later in life, you'll notice that the most effective exercises for seniors often look simple. They don't involve jumping heavy weights or getting down on the floor. Instead, they focus on strength, posture, and stability. These exercises work with the body, not against it. And because they feel safe, people actually stick with them. Consistency is what keeps the body capable after 60. Another important factor is confidence. Fear of falling or getting hurt changes how people move. Movements become guarded. Muscles don't fully engage. Balance reactions slow down. The exercises in this video are chosen to reduce that fear. They allow you to feel supported while rebuilding real strength. When fear goes down, movement improves naturally. These 5 exercises target the systems that matter most for senior health: the legs that help you stand and walk, the hips that keep you stable, the core that protects your spine, the posture that keeps you upright, and the balance that prevents falls. Walking alone does not train all of these systems. These exercises do. As you practice them, imagine what it would feel like to move without hesitation, to stand up without needing support, to walk with confidence, to trust your body again. That sense of control is what keeps seniors independent, active, and engaged in daily life. This video is not about pushing limits or chasing fitness trends. It's about protecting your ability to live well. Whether you are newly retired or well into your later years, these 5 exercises form a foundation you can rely on every day. After 60, the purpose of exercise changes in a way many people don't immediately recognize. Earlier in life, doing more often worked. Longer workouts, more repetitions, more variety. The body had the recovery capacity to handle it. But with age, the body becomes more selective. It no longer rewards quantity. It rewards relevance. What matters most is whether an exercise improves the ability to live daily life with strength, balance, and confidence. Many seniors stay busy but still feel weaker over time. They walk often. They stay active around the house. Yet standing up becomes harder. Balance feels uncertain. Movements that were once automatic now require thought. This happens because activity alone does not equal functional training. The body adapts specifically to what it is asked to do. When exercises don't directly support daily tasks, the benefits remain limited. After 60, the body needs movements that reinforce function. Function means being able to stand up from a chair without hesitation. It means climbing stairs with control. It means turning, reaching, and walking without fear of falling. These abilities depend on strength, stability, posture, and coordination working together. Doing more exercises that don't address these needs does not help. In some cases, it adds fatigue without improvement. Another common misunderstanding is intensity. Many seniors believe they must push harder to see results, but intensity without purpose often backfires. Fast movements, high repetitions, or complex routines increase stress on joints and the nervous system. The body responds by tightening, guarding, and holding back. This limits muscle engagement and slows progress. Instead of building strength, the body shifts into protection. Functional exercise feels different. It often looks simple. Slow movements, controlled positions, focused effort. These exercises don't overwhelm the body. They teach it how to support itself again. Muscles engage fully because the nervous system feels safe. Balance improves because movements are predictable. Posture improves because alignment is emphasized. These changes are subtle but powerful. You'll notice that when exercises are functional, the benefits show up outside the workout. Standing becomes easier. Walking feels steadier. Daily tasks require less effort. This transfer is what matters most after 60. Exercise should not exist only during the workout. It should improve life the rest of the day. Another reason function matters more than quantity is recovery. Aging bodies recover more slowly. Doing too much creates lingering soreness or fatigue that discourages consistency. Functional exercises are easier to repeat regularly because they respect recovery limits. This allows seniors to practice more often without burnout, which leads to better long-term results. There is also a mental component. Large routines can feel overwhelming. When exercise feels complicated or exhausting, motivation drops. A small set of meaningful exercises feels manageable. It builds confidence. Confidence encourages consistency. Consistency creates change. This cycle is essential for senior health. Functional exercise also reduces fear. When movements mirror daily life, people feel more prepared. Standing up, stepping, stabilizing. Practicing these actions in a safe environment makes real life movement feel less risky. Fear decreases. Muscles engage more naturally. Balance reactions sharpen. These changes reinforce independence. After 60, the goal of exercise is not to chase fitness trends or impress anyone. It is to protect the ability to live well. That requires focusing on the movements that matter most and letting go of the idea that more is better. The body doesn't need everything. It needs the right things. When exercise is aligned with function, the body responds efficiently. Strength improves where it is needed. Balance becomes reliable. Movement feels controlled. This is why focusing on function, not quantity or intensity, is the foundation of senior health after 60. One of the most damaging myths about aging is the belief that weakness, stiffness, and instability are simply unavoidable. Many seniors assume that losing strength is the natural price of getting older, so they accept limitations instead of questioning them. But from a health and rehabilitation perspective, most decline after 60 is not caused by age itself. It is caused by the absence of the right stimulus. The body adapts to what it experiences, and when it is not challenged correctly, it becomes less capable. Muscle does not disappear because of birthdays. It disappears because it is no longer asked to work. After 60, people often move less intensely without realizing it. Chairs become lower. Steps become shorter. Movements become more cautious. These changes reduce the demand placed on muscles. Over time, the body adapts downward. Strength fades, balance reactions slow, and joints lose support. This process feels like aging, but it is actually disuse. The nervous system plays a major role here. It controls how muscles activate and how balance is maintained. When movement becomes repetitive and low challenge, the nervous system stops refining these skills. Walking on flat ground at the same pace every day provides very little stimulation. The brain already knows this pattern. It no longer needs to adapt. As a result, coordination and reaction speed decline, even if activity continues. Another important factor is how muscles are loaded. Many daily movements after 60 avoid resistance, standing up slowly with support, avoiding stairs, holding on to furniture. These behaviors reduce muscle activation further. Muscles weaken not because they are incapable, but because they are underused. When muscles are reintroduced to controlled resistance, even later in life, they respond by becoming stronger. Joint health also depends on proper stimulus. Joints rely on muscles to guide and protect them. When muscles weaken, joints absorb more stress. Pain and stiffness follow. People then move even less to avoid discomfort. This creates a cycle that looks like inevitable decline, but is actually a response to inadequate stimulation. You'll notice that when seniors are given the right exercises, changes can happen quickly. Strength improves, movements feel easier, balance sharpens. This often surprises people because they believed improvement was no longer possible. What changed was not age. What changed was the quality of the stimulus. Fear also contributes to the lack of stimulus. After a fall or injury, many people unconsciously limit movement. They avoid positions that feel unstable. While this feels protective, it reduces muscle activation and balance training even further. Safe, controlled exercises reintroduce challenge without triggering fear. This allows the body to re-engage and rebuild capacity. It's important to understand that the right stimulus does not mean extreme effort. Aging bodies do not need high impact or exhaustion to adapt. They need clarity, clear signals that muscles should engage, clear challenges to balance, clear opportunities to support the body against gravity. When these signals are present consistently, adaptation occurs. This is why some seniors improve dramatically while others decline, even at the same age. The difference is not genetics or luck. It is exposure to meaningful movement. Those who continue to challenge their bodies appropriately maintain strength and independence. Those who avoid challenge gradually lose capacity. Recognizing that decline is stimulus related rather than age related changes how people approach exercise. It replaces resignation with possibility. It shifts the focus from limitations to solutions. When seniors understand that their bodies are still responsive, they become more willing to move with intention. Strength, stability, and confidence are not lost because time passes. They are lost when the body stops being asked to use them. With the right stimulus, even after 60, the body can relearn how to support itself, move with control, and feel capable again. One of the most powerful forces shaping how seniors move after 60 is fear. It rarely announces itself loudly. Instead, it shows up quietly in small decisions made throughout the day, holding onto a chair when standing up, avoiding certain movements, taking shorter steps, moving slower than necessary. These behaviors may feel cautious, but they slowly change how the body functions. Fear alters movement long before strength is truly lost. When fear enters the picture, the nervous system shifts into protection mode. Its goal becomes avoiding risk rather than supporting performance. Muscles no longer engage fully. They tighten instead of producing smooth force. Balance reactions become delayed. Breathing becomes shallow. Even if the muscles are physically capable, they are not being used effectively. Over time, this protective pattern feels like weakness or instability, but it is actually inhibition. Many seniors experience this after a fall, near fall, or painful episode. The body remembers that experience. The brain associates certain movements with danger and begins to limit them automatically. This happens even without conscious awareness. People don't decide to move differently. They simply do. And because these changes happen gradually, they often go unnoticed until daily life feels restricted. Exercises that trigger fear reinforce this cycle. Fast movements, unstable positions, or anything that feels out of control confirms the brain's belief that movement is risky. The nervous system responds by holding back further. This is why some exercise programs fail seniors despite good intentions. They challenge the body in ways that increase caution instead of confidence. Safe exercises work differently. When movement feels supported and predictable, the nervous system relaxes. Muscles are allowed to engage fully. Balance reactions become quicker. Breathing deepens. This shift is subtle but essential. It marks the transition from protection to participation. Once the body feels safe, it becomes willing to adapt again. You'll notice that when fear decreases, posture improves without instruction. The body stands taller. Movements feel smoother. People stop bracing before they move. This is not because strength suddenly appeared, but because the nervous system stopped restricting it. Confidence unlocks capacity that was already there. Fear also affects consistency. If exercise feels risky, people avoid it. Missed sessions turn into missed weeks. Over time, the lack of practice leads to real physical decline. Safe exercises remove this barrier. When people trust the movements, they return to them regularly. Regular practice allows the body to rebuild strength, balance, and coordination naturally. Balance is especially sensitive to fear. When people are afraid of falling, they stiffen their legs and widen their stance. This feels safer, but it reduces adaptability. The body becomes less able to respond to sudden changes. Safe balance training teaches the nervous system that movement can be controlled. Over time, balance reactions become faster and more precise. It's important to understand that fear is not a personal weakness. It is a biological response designed to protect the body. The goal of senior exercise is not to ignore fear, but to work with it. By choosing exercises that feel secure, the nervous system can gradually relearn trust. This trust is what allows strength and balance to return. From a health perspective, many breakthroughs occur when fear is addressed first. Once fear decreases, progress accelerates, muscles engage more effectively, coordination improves, movements feel natural again. The body stops fighting itself. Removing fear does not mean avoiding challenge. It means introducing challenge in a way the body can accept. Gradual, controlled difficulty builds confidence rather than resistance. Each successful movement teaches the nervous system that it is capable. This learning compounds over time. When fear no longer dominates movement, seniors rediscover abilities they thought were gone. Standing feels easier. Walking feels steadier. Daily life feels less restrictive. This is why reducing fear is not just emotional. It is a physical intervention that determines whether the body can fully participate in exercise and regain function after 60. When we talk about exercises that truly matter after 60, we are not talking about individual muscles in isolation. We are talking about systems. Systems are what determine whether a person can live independently, move confidently, and respond safely to everyday situations. These systems work together quietly in the background, and when they weaken, life becomes more limited even if a person remains active. Leg strength is one of the most critical systems. The legs are responsible for lifting the body against gravity. Standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, stepping over objects, and walking uphill all depend on leg strength. Walking alone does not provide enough resistance to maintain this ability. Without specific strengthening, legs gradually lose the power needed for these tasks, making daily life more effortful and risky. Hip stability is another essential system. The hips act as the central stabilizers of the body. They control side-to-side movement, support balance, and protect the knees and lower back. When hip stability declines, the body compensates in unhealthy ways. Knees absorb forces they shouldn't. The lower back tightens. Balance becomes unreliable. Exercises that strengthen and stabilize the hips restore alignment and make movement smoother and safer. Core support often gets misunderstood, but it plays a major role in senior health. The core is not about appearance. It is about protection. Deep core muscles stabilize the spine and pelvis before movement begins. They allow the arms and legs to move without stressing the back. When core support weakens, posture collapses and balance reactions slow. Exercises that gently activate the core rebuild this protective function and reduce strain throughout the body. Posture ties all these systems together. Upright posture keeps the body's center of gravity balanced over the feet. It reduces joint stress and improves breathing. Poor posture shifts weight forward, increasing the risk of falls and fatigue. Training posture through controlled exercises teaches the body how to hold itself efficiently during movement and stillness. Coordination is the final system that often declines unnoticed. Coordination allows muscles to activate in the right order and intensity. It determines how quickly the body responds to changes in position. Walking on a flat surface requires little coordination. Real life does. Turning suddenly, reaching while standing, navigating uneven ground. Exercises that challenge coordination restore the brain-body connection that keeps movement fluid and responsive. These systems do not operate independently. They rely on each other. Strong legs without balance are not enough. Good posture without hip stability cannot be maintained. Core support without coordination limits movement. The most effective exercises after 60 address multiple systems at once. They teach the body how to work as a unit again. You'll notice that when these systems improve, everyday tasks feel different. Standing up becomes smoother. Walking feels steadier. Turning feels controlled instead of rushed. These changes reduce fatigue and increase confidence, allowing seniors to participate more fully in daily life. Independence is not about performance or athletic ability. It is about reliability. The ability to trust your body to respond when needed. Training the systems that protect independence creates this reliability. It reduces the mental effort of movement and allows the body to function automatically again. Many seniors believe decline is inevitable because they focus on symptoms rather than systems. Stiffness, weakness, and pain often reflect system-level changes. When the underlying systems are retrained, symptoms improve naturally. strength returns. Balance sharpens. Posture stabilizes. Confidence grows. This is why only a few exercises are truly necessary after 60. When chosen correctly, they rebuild the systems that matter most. They don't chase exhaustion or trends. They restore function. And restored function is what allows seniors to live actively, safely, and independently at any stage of life. The factor that ultimately determines whether these exercises change anything after 60 is not motivation or discipline. It is consistency. The body adapts to what it experiences repeatedly. One good workout does very little. A pattern of safe, repeatable movement reshapes strength, balance, posture, and confidence over time. This is why the right exercises matter more than the number of exercises. They must be movements that seniors can return to again and again without fear or fatigue. Many older adults start exercise programs with good intentions but stop because the routine feels overwhelming. Too many movements, too much soreness, too much mental effort. When exercise becomes a burden, consistency disappears. The body never receives a steady signal to adapt. Instead, it experiences brief stress followed by long periods of inactivity. This pattern leads to frustration rather than progress. Exercises that are simple, safe, and purposeful remove this barrier. They fit naturally into daily life. They don't require equipment, special clothing, or long recovery. They can be done in short sessions without preparation. This lowers resistance to starting. And when starting feels easy, repeating becomes possible. Consistency also trains the nervous system in ways people often overlook. Each time a movement is repeated, the brain refines coordination. Balance reactions become quicker. Muscles activate more efficiently. Movements require less conscious effort. Over time, the body becomes better at supporting itself automatically. This neurological adaptation is one of the most important benefits of regular practice after 60. Another reason consistency is so powerful is that aging bodies respond better to frequent, moderate stimulation than to occasional intensity. Muscles strengthen gradually, tendons adapt, joints become more supported. These changes require time under tension, not exhaustion. Short daily practice provides a steady signal that the body can respond to without becoming overwhelmed. You'll notice that people who practice consistently often feel improvement before they see it. Standing up feels easier. Balance feels steadier. Movements feel smoother. These early wins reinforce the habit. When the body feels better, the mind becomes more willing to continue. This creates a positive feedback loop that sustains long-term change. Consistency also builds trust. When movements feel predictable and safe, fear decreases. Seniors stop worrying about getting hurt. This confidence changes how they move throughout the day. They stand up more often. They walk with less hesitation. They use their muscles naturally. Daily life itself becomes part of the training process. It's important to understand that consistency does not require perfection. Missing a day does not undo progress. What matters is returning without judgment. The body responds to overall patterns, not isolated lapses. This mindset reduces stress and makes long-term adherence realistic. At any age, habits shape physical capacity. After 60, habits become even more influential because recovery slows and tolerance changes. The right habits protect joints, preserve strength, and maintain independence. The wrong habits reinforce caution and weakness. Choosing exercises that can be practiced consistently is one of the most powerful decisions a senior can make, even in the 70s and 80s. Consistent practice leads to meaningful improvement. Strength increases, balance sharpens, posture stabilizes, confidence returns. These changes may not happen overnight, but they happen reliably when the body is given the right signal again and again. This is why only a small number of exercises are needed after 60. When they are chosen wisely and practiced regularly, they provide everything the body needs to stay capable, not intensity, not complexity, just consistency with movements that support how the body actually works.